How are you? Welcome to my kitchen again. We're continuing our series on entertaining, and today, I'll be honest with you, I do not approve of what I'm going to do today. We're going to serve a stand-up buffet. There's also a sit-down buffet, but I don't like to stand around trying to eat. This is not the first time, of course. We're not the first crew in America that have done this. I think it's probably popular because of our Puritan upbringing. We don't want to waste too much time eating. We've been taught that eating and enjoying the table is wrong, just as enjoying our passions is wrong. Biblically, of course, that's not the case at all. So I rebel. For me, the stand-up buffet is a sign of quickie America. And we invented it. Did you know that? The first time that anyone stood up to eat their lunch, and no, it was not in Europe. No, the Chinese would never consider such a thing. It was in New York in 1895 at the Exchange Buffet in Manhattan. And they came, the businessmen, loaded with Puritan guilt and the urge to go back out and produce, you see, would come in and they could have a glass and a plate and they would serve their own stuff and then run around and go back to work and nothing flat. During the 1900s, we used to serve buffets that were terribly elaborate. They would spend days and days and days working on a terribly elaborate dish. And these were displayed, of course, the joy of the eye as well as the tummy. In our time, the idea of eating standing up generally means a milkshake. It's not good for you. French fries, it's not good for you. And the rest of the stand-up that I don't like. So let's have a good one. We can have a neat time. I'll show what to do, first of all. I want to remind you that when you have a buffet, you don't want to have a lot of sloppy things on the plate. So I'm going to make a lamb curry for my guests because it'll be thick and rich and it can go over the rice and it's not going to dribble on the carpet. And don't think that's a small problem. You should see my carpet. All right, let's begin. First of all, make your own curry powder. We're going to start today with a curry powder that you can vary this, of course. Do anything you want. But we're going to start with a half tablespoon of cardamom. And this one happens to be ground. I would prefer that we had cardamom that was not ground at all. And we need a tablespoon of cinnamon stick. And I'm just going to break it up here. There we go. Because we're going to grind all of this up, you see. There we are. And we need to add some whole cloves, about 1/4 tablespoon. I should keep these on a different plate here so you can see everything. That's not 1/4, that's better. I don't want to get this too heavy. But you can vary these any way you wish. It doesn't really matter. And now we need some cumin, C-U-M-I-N, cumin, 1/4 tablespoon of cumin. And then we're going to add some nutmeg. And the nutmeg is simply ground right out of the grinder here. I want about 1/4 tablespoon of that too. That's almost a whole nutmeg. Isn't this a wonderful little gadget? It has a blade in the bottom, you see, and you can just keep turning the crank. Does it work? Oh, yes, we've got enough there. That's enough. That's enough. And we'll go on now to some turmeric. This is the thing that you most commonly see in curry, because cheap curries, no, there's no such thing as curry powder. That was invented for the sake of the British in India a long time ago. Okay, I want a tablespoon of turmeric. See, now that's the bright color. You see what's happening? Tablespoon of turmeric, and I had to pry that out of the jar, I'm sorry to say, and some whole coriander. Wonderful seed. And about a 1/2 tablespoon of coriander. As much as possible, please use whole seeds. Grind your own. Some Indians, the Indian families will toast these seeds in a frying pan before they grind them up. But since some of mine were powdered, I couldn't do that. Then I want some black peppercorn to taste. I'll say 1/2 teaspoon. I don't want this to be too terribly hot. I have some little friends coming over too. And some dried red pepper flakes. You know what I mean by that. And oh boy, that's where you get the heat. So be careful. You can just do it your way, do what you'd like. And 1 bay leaf. And we'll grind all of this up. I'm going to use a coffee grinder. A German coffee grinder. There we go. To make real curry. You see, you don't buy that powder. Now we'll grind all of this up. Just slip it right in here. Already the odors have begun to mingle, and I can smell the approach of a curry. A wonderful thing. It's very practical to serve too, because you can put it on the buffet and then sit down and enjoy your guests. And that's part of the learning how to party properly. You don't want to spend all of your time in pain running around the kitchen. Have things all ready by the time they get there. All right, here we go. And we'll crack all of this up. I think we're ready. Let's see. It doesn't have to be terribly fine. Perfect. Perfect. And I'm just going to use the lid here for a measuring device for a minute. If you don't have a coffee grinder, I don't even grind coffee in mine, but if you don't have a coffee grinder, for heaven's sakes, remember that for fresh herbs and spices, that's the best thing you could possibly use. You'll have a wonderful time with them. And you can't find normal curry powder that has that much life. You see, the bottle, when the spices are already blended, they sit in the bottle and they lose their individuality. That's the word I wanted. So now they're blended together, but they're still separate in another way. Very good. Okay, in we go. Let's try this one. Now, I have some lamb, and I prepared about 3 pounds of lamb shoulder, and I've sautéed it. You see, brown it first. And don't flour meats for heavy. You've heard me say that before. Don't flour meats. You're just browning flour. Cook the meat so that it is colored a bit. Into a hot kettle, about 3 pounds. Not the kettle, the lamb. Now we have 3 sautéed yellow onions. Or more to taste. That looks to me like more than 3. When I'm cooking, it's hard for me to tell you how many I've put in. You know how that goes. And some garlic. Oh, I'll put in 4 cloves. How's that sound? Using my trusty garlic press. You know, the people that sell garlic presses bless my name every morning now when they go to work and start making garlic presses. I hope that we've gotten America to eat more garlic. You all seem to tell me that when you see me in a shopping mall signing books or something. You run up and give me a hug and a clove of garlic, and I think that's very funny and very wonderful. Okay, that's enough. That was a big one on the last one. I'm going to quit. So we'll cook the garlic in with the lamb now. We're going to add to that. We have our onions already sautéed, and we're going to add to that. Notice I'm using the back of my knife, never the sharp edge. See, never the sharp edge, or you'll dull it. So use the back of your knife for a scraper. There. Now, we've already sautéed the onions then. The lamb is ready to go. So now we simply add to that 2, let's see, what have I got in here? 3 cups or 2 cups of broth, of chicken broth? I don't remember. Thank you. 2 cups. And we'll bring that to a simmer. Now we're going to add curry to taste, our curry blend that we've made. Because I don't even like to call it curry powder because some of you are going to cheat and want to go pick up prepared curries, and you're just not going to have as much fun. I'm going to put in most of this. There. Oh boy. There. Ouch. Well, let them eat curry. I think it'll be fun. It's going to be a little warm. Now, curry should make you cry. You should weep and wail when you have curry. I see no reason not to. Now then, we're going to add some fresh ginger. And again, this is something that you can't use dry ginger and get the same delicious flavor. It just doesn't work. And this little thing that looks like a washboard for tiny people is a ginger grater, porcelain ginger grater. You can find them in any Japanese or Chinese market. And most gourmet shops should have these for you. There they are. They're really expensive, about $1.50 or something like that. And there. Oh, now it's going fine. Now the smell of ginger is coming up to me. Oh, that is gorgeous. And a little bit of additional salt. I haven't put any salt in this yet at all. Not much. You want to cook this down a bit first before you do too much more. And certainly not much more pepper. It's probably amply hot now. All right? I'm going to cover that and let it simmer for about an hour and a half. And in order to thicken it, let me change postures on you because I have one all done. Owie, where are my pot holders? Here we go. I'm going to thicken that with a bit of cornstarch. Put that one over to cook. And this one is already finished. There you are. Oh, it's wonderful. But you see how wet the gravy is? See that? You can't serve that on a buffet. Oh, I know some of us have tried, but I don't want you to do that. So what I'm going to do is to prepare a bit of cornstarch and water. This is very simple. Just put the cornstarch into 3 tablespoons. You might not want to use all of this. And then dissolve it in water. This way you avoid lumps. Cornstarch is wonderful for thickening. It's very easy to use, and it won't lump up on you if you just stir at the last minute. Mix it in at the last minute, as I'm doing now. And then we'll keep stirring until you feel no more. Well, until the fork stops grabbing the bottom of the bowl. You know what I mean? You have a nice solution here. There. That's not a solution. It's an immersion. stir it. All right? There. And in we go. We'll just blend this in, and it will thicken. Look at that. See? Right away. Right away. Don't stop stirring. There. All right, the dish is finished. Taste that and correct the seasoning. You see how, now it's going to hold onto your plate properly. You see, no drips. Got that? No drips. No, I'm not talking about your guests. I'm talking about the spoon. There. Let me put that on the buffet, on the table right now. I'll need a pad for some color, and I certainly need a bit of cork to prevent it from burning. Now, we're going to serve that with rice, and on a buffet, if you just stick a bowl of rice out, it looks rather drab. So I put one in a mold. This is simply rice with a bit of pimento and green onion. What else do I have in? Oh, and some parsley. It doesn't matter what you like to put in yours. Now, with any luck, it'll come out. We'll see. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Well, it's not doing it. Hope this works. There we go. Come on. Come on. Da-dum! Boy. I'm afraid that was a close one for me. If you don't oil these molds properly, things are going to stick. Try spraying them with Pam, and then you can have lots of fun on a buffet. As a matter of fact, we're going to do a whole show on the molded meal, and it will be fun. Not moldy. I didn't say that. I said molded. There. I think we'll put a bit of parsley in the center of this just for a little dress-up, kind of a messy dress-up, and that would be served alongside of your lamb curry. Now, for our next one, we're going to go on with a very quick vegetable timbali. I'm not even going to give you the recipe because it's so utterly simple. You take a bit of egg and mix it with some cheese, some vegetables, a little chopped ham, put it in an oiled timbali mold or a little bitty. You can use an egg cup or anything you'd like. A large egg cup, you see, or a Chinese teacup, and then put a aluminum foil lid on these and put them in a pan of water in the oven, about an inch up on the side, just about an inch, and let them sit in a 375 oven for about 40 minutes, and look what you get. They're kind of a tiny, tiny souffle, but they're heavier because you have a lot of cheese in it, and they're a wonderful course for a formal buffet, a stand-up buffet, so that you can run around and do a lot of eating without spilling all over yourself. Incidentally, here's a secret for your buffet. Keep things covered with wet paper towels, that is to say the cold things, until your guests come, such as lettuce, you see. And then everything will look fresh and nice, and you can come to the door to... There we are, there's one. Come to the door and invite them to sit down or enjoy the house. Did you see that? It says 40 on the back. I bought these in Greece. That's 40... what's the name of the Greek coinage? I thought I'd never forget that. There's one more. If you have a chance to go to Greece and don't take it, I don't even want to talk to you. Greece is the most wonderful experience. This is not a Greek dish, but the Greeks are fond of custards and little timbalis, these little molds, you see. Well, you get the idea. I've made about a dozen of these, and we put them out on the buffet. No, yours are not going to come out this easily. I know, you've guessed it already. I fiddled around with these before you came and made sure they would all come out so I wouldn't be too terribly embarrassed. There. That will go on our buffet so that we can stand up and still enjoy one another and talk without having things dribble around. Remember, don't put anything on your buffet that can't be cut quickly. Oh, and one more rule, too, that's important. At least it's important to me. Please do not put silverware and napkins along with the plates. If you're asking people to walk by a buffet, they don't need the silverware until they get to the end. Every time I go to a buffet at somebody's home, they give me a plate, a napkin, and the silverware when you begin. So you're juggling all of this stuff. You can't put your plate down. I always drop my plate. That's, you can avoid that by putting the silverware and the napkins at the opposite end. That's really where it should go to start with, you see. Now, I want to show you a very strange salad. One of the things you want to do in a buffet is put a lot of vegetables on, but if they're hot vegetables, you'll be in trouble because, Aunt Evelyn's going to come in late. She always comes late. And there's no way to change the old girl, so accept it. And have things on the buffet that will hold. The lamb curry will hold. The rice will hold. If we have another ring we can put out. Timberly, it doesn't matter whether they're cold, hot, medium, warm. And this one is a cold green bean salad with filberts. Easy to do. I'm going to use frozen green beans, a 20-ounce package that I've prepared simply by dipping them in cold water. So there you are. There's 20 ounces of green beans. And to that, we're going to add some, let's see, what do we add here? I want to add some green onions. There we are. Oh, about 8 chopped green onions. Yes, this is going to be a heavy one. You'll like it, though. It's very, very good. And then we need to add some salad onions. I've got some chopped here. There we are. A bit of white salad onion chopped up, just a handful or so. You can do whatever you like with it. And 2 cups of filberts. And let me show you what to do with those. Where are they? Aha. If you'll put a pound of filberts or so on a cookie sheet and roast them, these have the hulls on them, roast them in a 400-degree oven for about 15 minutes, you'll come up with something that looks like this. They're very dark. Now, how do you get rid of the hulls? Watch. You simply put your hands together and rub, and the hulls will all be loosened. Unless, of course, you're doing this for many television stations and then nothing works. There we are. And you just blow them away. You see? Don't worry about getting all of them. This will be fine. We chop these up, and we now have almost a pound. Let's get these out of the way here. And we'll add that to our salad. All those filberts, isn't that wonderful? I love them. And we'll prepare a dressing now. And the dressing is easy to do. Let me get a mixer here so we can whip this up in a hurry. And a small bowl. Here we are. Now, we want 1 coddled egg for our dressing. The coddled egg is simply an egg that's been soaking in hot water for about 10 minutes. Hot water right out of the tap. You don't have to have something boiling or anything like that. So we'll put our coddled egg into the bowl, and then we'll add half a cup of olive oil. Oh, I have olive oil all over the place. Do you keep your things in wine bottles? I do. It works very, very well. Half a cup of olive oil, a couple of tablespoons, maybe 3 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice. And remember now, don't use that cheap bottle stuff. I'll catch you if you do. There we are. The quickest way to do that, of course, is with the lemon. Remember, watch the seeds. Watch the seeds. There you go. There he's gone. Okie doke. That's a couple of tablespoons. Oh, you saw the seeds go in there, did you? You have a very good set. Sorry about that. They'll be all right in the salad. I'll strain them out later. I shouldn't leave them there for you. That's teaching you bad habits. And I don't have enough time to change it. Red or white wine vinegar. I'm going to use white because I don't want it to be discolored, you see. And about 3 tablespoons. 1, 2, 3. More oil, always, for a good vinaigrette, more oil than vinegar. If you go into a restaurant and the salad tastes too vinegary, you know it's a cheap deal because vinegar is a lot cheaper than olive oil. This is something new I should tell you? Well, you know, of course it's true. And then we need to add some garlic, as much as you prefer. 2 cloves? Oh, at least. Put in 2 fat cloves. With nuts? Garlic with nuts? Of course. Of course. This will be a nice rich dressing, and it'll be wonderful with the nuts. There. I've got a lot of garlic going here. There we are. When we started this series, I sent my helper out to buy some garlic and a lot of other groceries, and I gave him a list, and I said, bring me back some garlic. He came with $12 worth of garlic. It's an enormous bucket. And he says, that's all right. He says, there are 13 shows in this series on entertaining. He says, you'll use it all. I'm getting low on garlic. You knew what was going to happen. I think that's fun. Some salt and pepper, and I want to put in just a pinch of sugar. Here it is. Just a bit to cut down on the sharpness of the vinegar. And fresh cracked pepper. That's in this department. And a bit of salt. And we'll have a marvelous dressing and a very interesting salad that will act as a, what's the word I want? Act as a vegetable dish and a salad dish all at the same time. There. We don't have to make elaborate buffets in order to tickle our guests. That's not the point. They don't have to, we'll blend that now. They don't have to eat as many courses as we used to eat in old buffets. But they certainly should have a nice variety and enjoy the possibility. Is this thing a kick? Did you see that my little cordless mixer? You can go anywhere in the kitchen with these. I just love it. It's easy for the boys to run around the kitchen and cook too, because they're not tripping on one another's cords, if you'll pardon the expression. There. We'll blend that and put it in a salad bowl. Garnish it with, I don't know, a little bit of parsley. That would be good. Did you get the recipe now? We have in the bowl a little bit of green onion, a little bit of chopped white onion, about a pound of roasted filberts, and 20 ounces of green beans. And then we made a dressing of egg, olive oil, wine vinegar. You can put in a pinch of mustard if you like. Dijon mustard would be good. And put in a bit of sugar and some salt and pepper and whip that up. Now we need a bowl. And the plot thickens, you see. You've never heard nuts clink in a salad bowl like that, have you? Isn't that wonderful? Oh, I love this dish. I think it's going to be great. This is one of my favorites for a buffet. All right, now there are other salads that we can make, but I want to show you. I hope we have time to do this. Where's my other pan here? Here we go. I want to show you a dish that I stole. I just stole this. Mine is not as good as hers, but I stole it from a restaurant in New York, one of the finest eating houses, I think, in the city, called Felidia's. Felidia is a cat, and Felice is the husband, and Lydia is the wife, and they run a fine restaurant called Felidia, and it's named after their cat, which is a combination of the two of their names. You see, it's on East 58th. And when you walk in the place, Felice and Lydia have a marvelous buffet ready of antipasti. And this one is so delicious that I have to show it to you. What you do is to slice zucchini the long way. You see? Now be careful with this machine. If you probably caught on to the fact, and if you're a younger viewer, for heaven's sakes, even I cut myself when I'm careless. Don't stand around in the kitchen and talk with people. That's what I do all the time. And that's when I hurt myself. You see how wonderfully this cuts the zucchini? Now we're going to dip that in an egg bath. And an egg bath simply consists of a couple of eggs, a tablespoon or so of flour, and maybe just a tad of milk. Just a bit. What does that mean? A tablespoon or so. Okay? We'll dip it into is this hot yet? If you're watching and you're a young person, again, you have to cook for a long time before you're silly enough to put your hands in a hot frying pan. But I'm Norwegian, and we don't know any better. Oh, my mother has always done that. It's always scared me to death, and now here I find myself doing her same silly habit. It isn't a habit. If you're careful, you can't burn yourself. You see, you got to be skilled with that. So don't try it. Don't try it until you're really very familiar with the kitchen. Now we will dip the beautiful thin slices of zucchini into the egg wash and then into the pan. And we'll brown them on both sides. There we are. All right. This is so much fun. Then we're going to roll them up like little jelly rolls and marinate them with a dressing of nothing but olive oil and lemon juice. A little more olive oil than lemon juice, of course. I'll see if I have time to finish those, but you'll catch on because you can see me roll them. Let's show you with a finished product, and then at least you'll know what's going to happen, huh? All right. Where are they? Here we are. You brown these on both sides. Good Lord, isn't this a mess today? Oh, so what's new? It doesn't matter. You brown these on both sides and then roll them up like a little jelly roll, you see? See how nice and brown these are? Don't take them out of the pan too soon. You want them to be tender and nice. I don't think there's any dressing on these yet. Let me smell one and see. I'm not sure what's on them. Nope. They simply smell like wonderfully, carefully fried zucchini. And what we'll do now is to put a bit of, here's a fork, a bit of lemon juice and olive oil dressing on them. And then put them on our buffet. These are wonderful things to eat standing up. You see, you don't have to do any cutting and butchering. You know why the Chinese use chopsticks? Do you think it's because they didn't have the fork? Are you kidding? The Chinese invented the fork. Hundreds of years before it appeared anywhere else in the world, the Chinese had the fork, but they refused to use it. Do you know why? Because they believe that the cook should do all of the work, and that it is rude to ask a guest to do work at the table. And the work, of course, consists of you and I sitting around, doing this kind of thing. Scrape, 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 pound off. Then we have to change hands, and then we can finally take a bite. Chinese said that's absurd. Have the cook do all of the work so that everything is prepared. And for them, a banquet is simply sitting down and moving the food from a gorgeous presentation into their mouth. There's no work involved. That's how our buffet should be. Then all your guests will have fun. Let me put this out for us here. That's not very colorful in the end. Let me add some kind of color to our buffet. If you have a big long table in your house, you'll be all set. If you don't, use the front room and put it on tables all around and expect people to walk about a bit. And you can have a great time with that. What do we need? Some parsley garnish? I agree. You're right. And some parsley here and maybe some parsley here. Wouldn't hurt at all. Well, anyhow, there are 5 dishes that you can put on your buffet. A lamb curry. Easy to prepare and utterly delicious. Then we've molded the rice into a mold with a little bit of pimento in it. And then we have timbales, which are simply egg with cheese, a bit of carrot, anything you like. And then we have a salad made of green beans and filberts, along with some other little goodies. And finally, our zucchini. And as you can see now, it's time to turn in the zucchini. So as you get ready to leave and we get ready to part, I'll flip over the zucchini and remind you that the point behind cooking is to bring joy. And that's what I want you to do each time you have a buffet. This is the Frugal Gourmet. Until I see you again, I bid you peace. Bye-bye.